Hey everyone. Okay, so majority of this chapter was basically just covering the rest of the fight of Heisuke and Shin versus Seba, and honestly, there's a couple dynamics at play in this fight that I just kind of really vibed with. The first thing I love is how this battle was largely a game of timing and accuracy. Like everything had to be in exactly the right place in order for everything to work out and in order to defeat Seba. Like for example, like the biggest problem that Shin has had throughout this entire fight has been trying to get a firm grasp on Seba, but by Heisuke being here and targeting the sprinkler, it allowed Shin the proper line of sight he needed in order to get a hold of Seba and defeat him. Like it's everything. It's one of those fights that's interesting because if Heisuke wasn't here, it I don't think if Heisuke wasn't here, this fight wouldn't have been as effective as it was, and I don't think I think Shin could have probably figured out like some way in order to get the gears working and get everything in place for it to still work without Heisuke, but because Heisuke was here, it allowed Shin to kind of put all the pieces he needed in place in order to finally defeat Seba. Um, Another thing, though, that this chapter does is it serves as an interesting counterpoint to the problem I had with chapter 25 in the sense where the comedy does feel more naturally integrated into the fight by way of Shin and Heisuke's dynamic all throughout, and how like a lot of the comedy basically comes from Shin trying to get a read on Heisuke's jumbled thoughts, which in itself it's very character focused, but it doesn't necessarily get in the way of the fight. In fact, in itself, it's fun. It's funny, but it's in fact I'd honestly even say that the comedy of like Shin and Hisuke's dynamic actually adds a little bit of tension to the fight of how how the two incompatible dynamics are gonna end up forming a working strategy in the end, which again is made even funnier though by the fact that clairvoyance and expert marksman abilities are a combo that should go hand in hand, but because it's Shin and Heisuke specifically, there was a lot of workshopping to do on syncing up the teamwork, you could say. Um, of course, when cutting back to Taro and Kashima at the end of the chapter, we learned Kashima has basically rigged the lab with a bomb, so now we're on 20-minute timer before the place blows. And honestly, in any other series, I'd be like, okay, here we go. We're basically on Dragon Ball time now. That this is gonna take at least 10 chapters in order to complete. But in order for this fight to finally be over. But because of how Suzuki like plots things, how he paces his manga and whatnot, and with the no it does feel perfectly reasonable that this fight will probably end in the next couple chapters, especially since Taro already dealt Kashima a pretty fatal blow. So it's like he already crippled Kashima in a way that's like, yeah, he's a lot easier to manage now than he probably was before. The only thing that does suck about this in my mind is, again, it feels like Lou didn't really have a moment to shine in this arc. She was really either a hostage or a bodyguard, which in the case of the latter, she is helping a rather important prisoner escape, but I would have liked to see her do more. Then again, maybe the reason for that is that it would have taken away from Shin's spotlight of this arc. I imagine it was made as an intentional choice in order to put her in the background. And yeah, Taro explaining 5 minutes should be plenty of time to kick Kashima's ass, like he's about to go to work. Now, with that said, the only one thing that's still a bit of a head scratcher with this arc as a whole is what Shiba and Osaragi are doing here, because the moment Taro showed up, they kind of just dipped out of the plot. So that has me thinking that we might get a tease of what they're doing in the aftermath of this arc, but largely I am imagining whatever they're doing is going to be set up for later in the story too. So, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on only on Blue Sky, Andalus, Crunchyroll, and be sure to hit the subscribe button and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight, everybody, signing off. Later, everyone.